and welcome back to Policy and Rights here at Depictions Media Radio. I'm your host, Michael Clogs. So, there has been a premier's meeting, or first minister's meeting, as it also is called, in Ontario, hosted, of course, by Doug Ford, if it was in Ontario. And we are going to actually hear from Doug Ford as he speaks about issues that he expects to see from the federal government. He expects to see a more responsive and available immigration system. He expects that immigration system to respond to the needs of the economy and to allow for work permits and for foreign workers to happen. He said that at one point that the foreign immigration minister and the prime minister were not exactly on the same page, and that could be a problem. Mr. Ford is expecting that a united front. I gotta hand it to Doug Ford on this one. That he does actually preach, hey, let's have a united Canadian front. Let's have unity between all the provinces so that we can all join together and work together and build a great spot in this planet Earth. He has a lot of a good point with that. I don't always agree with how he goes about those things, but at least he's speaking out and trying to promote a united Canada rather than a divided Canada. That we try to figure out what the key issues are and work on those key issues rather than always. Well, it is a democracy, so there's always going to be debate. There's always going to be opposition versus moving forward. And that comes at a great balance so that we're moving forward in the best interest of the people, the land, and all of those other beings that really can't speak for themselves. That we as Canadians stick to the idea of stewardship to the rest of nature also. So there's always going to be debate about how to do that, but as long as we stay united on some of those key things, those key ideas, that we're going to build a great country. Okay, there's also going to be some debate over pipelines. No one's actually talking directly about the pipelines, but we know that the pipeline projects are a priority. They're trying not to talk about it too much in public because of the environmental things. Let's face it, there is no pipeline in the world that does not leak. There is no pipeline in the world that doesn't eventually cause some sort of environmental disaster in some place. If you think that you're living in a dream world, if you think that the pipelines have to be absolutely safe, they don't disperse hazardous material along the way, they do. And they do it in massive doses. When it happens, it is a massive dose. It makes, if you remember the town by the lake in I think it was in Quebec, that was decimated because of a rail car accident. If you think that was bad, let a pipeline go wrong, and they will hide the disaster. But let's move forward with this, okay? Because there's other issues at hand that really need to be addressed and really need to be talked about. And we're going to hear Mark Carney talk about the tariff issues between the U.S. and Canada because, well, let's face it, that the person who is sitting in the Oval Office in the White House, he's greedy and he wants his tariff money. He wants it now. Um, so the question is, by August 1st, and well, I'm recording this, it is January 23rd. Will there be a deal on the table that will be suitable for Canada to sign off? That is always going to be a big question. Is there going to be a deal put in place that will allow for that? Interestingly enough, that, and I think maybe Mr. Trump is suffering from dementia on this one, because the U.S., Canadian, and Mexican trade deal that he says is so horrible that Biden put together, was so horrible, was actually put together by him. He wrote that deal out. He negotiated that deal and put it in place. And Biden simply said, it looks good, so let's keep going with it. Trump put the deal in place that eliminated a lot of the tariffs between Canada, United States, and Mexico. He put together the deal that would have the three countries working together as a united front in North America. Wasn't Biden. He did it. So now if the deal is no good, he made the deal to begin with. He was the one who put the deal in place. So is he suffering from dementia? And he's forgetting that he was the one who did it? Anyway, okay, so Mark Carney is going to say that there is going to need to be a deal put in place that is worthy of Canada signing off on, worthy of his ministers signing off on. And he said Minister LeBlanc is actively working on that before August 1st. And one of the big things is, okay, there's a statistic out there, and I don't know, I'm going to quote the statistic, but don't beat me up because I haven't actually fact-checked this, because I do know that a good bit of Alberta oil gets sent to Asia for refinement and then sent back to the west coast of Canada in the form of gasoline. Gasoline is not just fuel. There's a lot of other uses for gasoline in plastics and in making nylon and other polymers that we can think of, because gasoline is now a refined product that can be produced into other things. So don't think that, oh, it's being sent back to us just for fuel. That isn't exactly always true. There's other manufacturing ideas, and things do get manufactured here in Canada. So that's not true. And polymers do get built here in Canada. So in order to do that from the petroleum, you need to convert it to clean it up so that it can be used as gasoline. Okay. End of the chemistry lesson. So the statistic is, should there be more refineries, because 97% of the bitumen that is drilled out of Alberta tar sands is being sent to the United States. I will say this much, though, that we need more trade partners for the resources that Canada is shipping out. We need to ship to other countries besides the United States, and that's just smart business. As things go, that you can't own a business and only have one customer. That customer dies out, you're simply put, you're out of business. if you're a consultant and you only have one client, you're technically an employee to that one client. And if that client leaves you or eliminates you, you're out of out of business. You're out of work. You have to go drum up business from other places. That's exactly what Canada needs to do. It needs to find ways to drum up business from other places, other countries. And if it is true that it just in one day that Mark Carney took 80 calls for other countries that want to do business with Canada, let's do that. Work with those countries, see what we can sell, what we can trade, how it can all work out. Because if the United States, Mr. Trump, is going to keep threatening and then removing tariffs, and it is not about doing business, it is about him wanting control. He wants to control the world's markets, and that's how he's going to do it, is by threatening tariffs. So everybody jumps up, oh my God, the United States is going to tariff us. If we take a step back and we reconsider and limit his ability to make us jump up and scream, oh my God, he's hitting us with a tariff. If we do that, it takes the wind out of his sails. So anyway, but the main thing about this Premier Summit is that they were trying to find a way to cause a united front for Canada. They were trying to promote projects across Canada in order to make a stronger infrastructure and pipelines to move oil products back and forth across the country for trade purposes or for fuel purposes and building refineries. That they also wanted to bring back to the table again First Nations issues. What about Indigenous rights? What about building Indigenous infrastructure so that the real stewards of the land can step forward and help make sure that these infrastructure projects are going the right way? And that was the real purpose of this particular summit. We're going to go on and on about trade things, which we need to trade. We're going to go on and on about the pipelines. Pipelines may not be the absolute answer, but it is an answer for helping Alberta get the bitumen and oil products from Alberta to, say, Quebec. It is an answer. So all answers need to be looked at and talked about, right? Okay. That was part of the purpose of this summit, is to talk about these things. So you're going to also hear, if you're listening to the podcast, you're going to hear David Eby. He makes a statement about British Columbia, because let's face it, British Columbia is with the softwood lumber thing, is one of the biggest resource producers for Canada. Everybody wants to talk about the oil. Softwood lumber isn't too far behind, guys. So David Eby, he steps up to the table and he talks about the softwood lumber and how to ensure that softwood lumber gets sold around the world for construction purposes. Now, the logging industry does need to be monitored. It's the same as the mining of the bitumen in Alberta. It needs to be monitored to make sure that we're doing it responsibly and respectfully. And leading back to, again, the idea of Indigenous rights to the land. They are going to ensure that we are doing things in a respectful way. So there's a lot of talk about Indigenous partners. Let's see if they actually do it. All right, why don't we move forward, and we're just going to take it from Doug Ford, him talking at the end of the 3 days, and we will hear other parts of and opinions about the meeting, such as uh, Tom Houston as he chimes in about what happened at the premier's meeting, and of course Mark Carney talking about the summit, and he's also going to answer some questions about other issues with Canada and the United States.